Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the trailer that just came out for Jupiter's Legacy. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But obviously just want to take this video, kind of share my thoughts about it. It seems an interesting superhero series. I've never read the comic. It's based on apparently an Image comics, which is pretty cool. It seems like basically it's about a new generation of superheroes. It's almost like a Justice League / Justice Society of America type of thing. I think it probably leaned a little, well, I'm sure you can find parallels to both, which obviously is interesting because obviously there's also like Robert Kirkman's like Invincible's out at this time. And so you kind of get a little bit of that, but obviously it's more so like these superheroes have done all they can to save the world, but it's also like this thing of when you spend so much time being the hero, being the one to save the world, like obviously the price that, you know, it costs you, because obviously like the Josh Duhamel's character, it seems like his son holds a little bit of resentment because it's like, you weren't there for me growing up, like he was too busy off being a hero and stuff like that, but now they're in their older ages. And obviously there was this line I thought was so interesting. It's like, when you used to fight for your country, you were kind of heralded as a hero. So it makes it, and obviously we see like some signs at one point in time, because it seemed like there was like a conference and some signs were kind of like, it seemed like, I think there was even a sign that said like, our lives greater than your lives or something like that. So I guess it's a situation of, in this world, like maybe they crossed the line, you're superheroes, you kind of get to run rampant, and maybe something went wrong and they ended up killing sadly maybe some innocent people got mixed up in it. So it's a situation of like, wow, you guys are so above, you get treated so above us because you're superheroes. Our lives matter too, like your lives aren't more important than ours. But I think that's the thing of like, oh, you used to fight for your country, be kind of heralded as a hero. So maybe they did something that was kind of in favor of like, maybe it's like they're, you know, I would assume America's like best interest, but it ended up ending with a whole bunch of people get hurt. Or maybe in general it just means like, you know, you were once heralded as this hero and people have you on this pedestal, but just so quickly how things can fall down. And obviously the legacies aspect, because it seems like it revolves around this pseudo Justice League, a new group being born. It's actually very similar. I think the thing to kind of compare it to would be like Stargirl a little bit, like how a new Justice Society of America is being built in that. I think kind of in a similar vein where like Josh Duhamel's characters, like children are kind of, and we see that they have their powers. We don't know how long they've had their powers, whether it's been their entire lives, like what the circumstances are behind that. But it's like they're supposed to live up to a certain ideal that of their father, but even the daughter being like, even dad can't live up to the ideals that he kind of tried to instill in us and stuff like that. He wants us to live by those ideals, even he can't. And I think it's kind of, you know, about rising to the occasion and just not necessarily a coming of age story, but kind of a coming of legacy story, I guess. And just that, you know, there's a legacy set before you and you're trying to forge your own, you know, handle things your way, like the way things used to be. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know. It just seems interesting for what we saw. I just think that's kind of an interesting element of like, you know, you being heralded as heroes and then obviously like people potentially turning their back on you. Like obviously we don't know, because a lot of the trailer is mainly about kind of like Earth related problems, but it seems like we don't know if like there's some big baddie they're fighting, almost looking like kind of like a borderline like dark side type of situation. But it's like we don't know if it's like being from another planet or whether it's one from this world that was created. It makes you wonder, it's like Josh Duhamel's character, like, you know, how do superheroes work in this world? I'm sure we probably have like our superpowered beings, and then we have our more like down to earth, like, because there was like one character with like 2 katanas. Is that like oh, I have no superpowers, I'm kind of Batmaning this, I'm like just super good at martial arts and weapons type of thing? I'm just curious, like, will they kind of dive into deep into being like, is he known as Jupiter just because that's his name? Or is it because he's actually from Jupiter? Probably not. Maybe more Earth-based. Oh no, because I forgot. I'm such an idiot. We saw at the beginning where they got their powers. They're actually all Earthlings, and they got their powers from they found some island that bestowed upon them their powers, which begs the question, like, is that where the baddie comes from? Did that person track down the island to get powers of their own? Or what? I mean, regardless, I mean, once again, I'm going into this just based on what we got from the trailer, but I think the trailer does a good job of giving you like the overarching thing, but not filling in too many of the details that you kind of obviously get filled in on as the, you know, season progresses. But I'm really interested to check this out, you know, when it ultimately comes out. Obviously, this is some of the stuff going through my mind. I'd love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your thoughts about the trailer? Are you someone that's familiar with the comic book? So are you excited by this or not? If you're like me and you're not familiar with the comic book, what are your thoughts in general? I'd love to get to know both perspectives on this. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.